Hey there, thanks for checking out the Music in Widescreen video blog. We have for you today Mark Truek of Unitopia. We want to thank him for coming back on the show for a second interview. He's going to be talking today mostly about Covered Mirror, the next release that he'll be coming out with. He also has some other things to talk about, of course, Unitopia and other side projects with John Anderson. So, I hope you enjoy the video. It's the first of many that are coming up. We will have for you Hassi Froberg, Discipline, Hugo Flores, Sean Filkins, and many, many others that don't know they're going to be interviewed yet, but they will be. No, we have, we seriously do have a lot of people coming. We'll be heading to Rozfest next week, and then Terra Incognita in 3 weeks, so we should have a lot of information for you, a lot of people on the show live. So thanks so much for checking this out. We'll be talking to you very soon. This is Mark from Music in Widescreen. I'm here with Mark Truek from Unitopia, and well, we got some news since we've last talked, Mark, and thanks so much for popping by today, all the way from Australia here. And so when we talked last, there are a lot of things going on. The Hope and Unitopia new album, the Flower Kings box set had come out already, and the DVD CD One Night in Europe has come out. Both are excellent. You covered The Way the Waters Are Moving, I believe, for the Flower Kings, and today we want to talk a little bit about the Covered Mirror, which is the new cover album that you are doing. And what can you? I haven't actually seen too much about that on the internet. What can you tell me about the that project?
Yeah, well, thank you, and thank you for having me. We've had a very interesting summer. We've been visited by our promotions manager, Patsy Deladoni, who's come to Australia for the very first time, and she obviously had the privilege of seeing and viewing the making of some of Covered Mirror. We should have finished Covered Mirror probably over 6 or 7 months ago, but we've been tied down doing other things. So the process has been a little bit slower than normal, but at the same time we've had a lot of fun doing it, and we've now completed it, and now we're in negotiations for distribution. We're going to distribute ourselves, and we're going to share that distribution with a distributor, which I'll announce very soon. Just finalising a few things first, but yeah, we're pretty excited about it's a different project. It's something that Sean and I wanted to do. We said that we wanted to do some songs that we really enjoy, that we've enjoyed in our lifetime, and where we were and what we were doing when we first heard some of these songs. I mean, there's some good stories. We've actually developed some lovely liner notes for the package for Covered Mirror, which I'm sure everybody will love to read and find out, you know, why we did those songs and so forth.
Right. Well, that's excellent. You know, I really I'm a guy that likes the physical media and the liner notes and the artwork, and I'm sure the artwork is important to you. I mean, you have now I forgot his name, doing a lot of your artwork for your albums. What is his name for the Unitopia albums? Oh, Unitsky. Right, Ed Unitsky. Yeah, so is that something that's important to you? You know, are you a fan of the physical media, or is it this just happened to be something where you really like the liner notes for this particular release, or?
Well, the package that we're putting together for Covered Mirror is extraordinary. We've had an image for quite some time from Ed, and we were trying to live with that for a while, and decided only just recently that we wanted something with a little bit more impact to represent what the album was about. And look, if you haven't seen that image, the strawberry and the bird, it is a very nice image, but it probably represents one of the other songs a lot more than, say, the whole album. So Ed's done some amazing work. I think the concept of this album, which is what we wanted to do, is to bring these songs together and join them in such a way that they feel like it's one big journey, like virtually what we did with Artificial. I mean, Artificial is a continuous piece of music, with different songs on it. Well, the same thing is applied here with Color Hero.
Oh,
and of course, we've called Volume 1 Smooth as Silk, meaning to say that, is there a Volume 2? Well, that's quite possible, because Volume 2 could be called Hard as Rock. So we've got Smooth as Silk and Hard as Rock.
All right, so that's kind of the penciled in thing of what might come of this ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't stated when we can do something like this, but we certainly want to do a harder rock album of covers and do something similar, just to sort of bookcase the two together so that they're a package.
Excellent. So yeah, this is highly anticipated actually, because I did notice that I think the original release date might have been November or something, and me being in IT, I know all about release dates. So did I hear that June 1st is what we're thinking about for the release date here?
We're hoping for that, yes.
Okay.
If we can get that happening on June the 1st, I mean, it's a tentative date.
Okay.
But, we're just hoping that we'll be able to launch it around that time. We've got a few weeks up our sleeve, so I've allowed for that. I would have loved to have had it ready for Rozfest, but we have to understand that the coordination of things, and as you said, albums slip. I mean, I was with their record company, EMI and B&G. I can tell you that the amount of times that we were told that we were getting an album and it slipped about 2 to 3 weeks later, it was unbelievable,
Yeah.
And that happens because you've got to get everything right. It's got to be coordinated. From Patsy's point of view, she has to coordinate all the promotional ventures. We've got to do a lot more work to reach out this time round. I think One Night in Europe has done okay, and we're now heading towards starting to make some profit. But we've got to work that album, like all the others, by reaching out to a lot more promotional activity companies like yourself, and I know that there are hundreds and hundreds of them that probably don't even know we exist, and yet they would love to have the music. So we've got to work that a lot more. We've got to seek them out, because we can still continue, like all record companies do. They want to sell their back catalogue, and we've got More Than a Dream out of stock, and so we're working very, very hard to try to complete the new version of that as a double pack, and that's coming out later on, as mentioned in the previous interview. So, I'm hoping that we can get this out, ASAP.
That's great. I mean, you can always. You'd hate to release something and not feel like it's complete. I mean, certainly, I think everybody understands that you want to get it right the first time. It's not like you can just send a patch if it's not up to what your standards are. So, I mean, that's great. I mean, June 1st is not that far away, and I mean, you've been working on a lot of things simultaneously, and you have people probably all over the globe working on this. So, is the ability to work with people across the oceans is helpful on one extent, but maybe does it hurt the timelines a little bit ultimately?
Yeah, well, it does, and look, we just had to help our good friend Marco Bernard out of Italy. He wanted me to guest on a PFM project, which is a song, The Traveller, and I've just finished that song.
Oh, excellent.
And we're just editing that, and that's heading off to Marco very shortly, and then we're working on another project for him, which is a H.P. Lovecraft album, which the song The Outsider, which I've written the lyrics and Sean's already done some of the music, will be featured on Turn Left as well, but it'll be a different version. And I may mention this too, that the song The Way the Waters Move, which you've heard for the Flower Kings project, that song has been remixed for Covered Mirror.
Oh, okay, excellent. Yeah, because I'm looking at that song right now in my player, and that's.
Well, this version that we've got is a brand new remix. We've made it a lot more symphonic, remembering that Matt Williams and myself did the first inception of The Way the Waters Move, with Matt playing acoustic guitar and Erhard. In this version, it's acoustic guitar and orchestra, so it's a little bit different.
All right, very good. And so I'll mention briefly the John Anderson, the Hope Project is still forthcoming, I believe.
The Hope, which the song that we've done a duet with. Actually, there is another duet out there. I speak to Steve Layton late last night. Actually, he on one of Steve's sites out there, there's a duet of him and I doing The Time and a Word as well. Excellent. Which is somewhere out there, which I haven't. Well, I've got it here, but he did a proper remix of it. So, but John's only on this track, The Water, at this point, and then we're hoping to get him to do some of the backing vocals for some of the Hope theme. I played Patsy when she was here the early templates of the whole album, and I'm sure she'll tell you what that's all about. It's quite a different, a completely different type of project to what Covered Mirror is. But Covered Mirror, though, I've got to say, that, and just getting back onto Covered Mirror, I think that based on some of the feedback that we've had from a few people, they are pretty impressed, and I think it'll do very, very well. I think we know that covers albums can sometimes be a little bit drab. We know that our good friend Billy Sherwood does a lot of covered albums. He's done Pink Floyd, he's done Led Zeppelin, he's really prolific in doing covers. He just loves doing cover albums. But this, I think, doing it ourselves gives us another sort of branch in our armament, or in our ability to be able to perform different styles and different types of songs.
Well, right, and certainly you give a different feel for the music as much as I've seen right now. What can you tell me about the Covered Mirror as far as I'm sorry, but I tried to do a little research on this, but I couldn't find. Is there tracks that you can mention that are on the album, or is that not for public disclosure?
I can tell you the album opens up with a wonderful orchestrated piece called Signs of Life. And that piece was a piece that Sean developed for a particular business that he was working for, and I remember him playing it to me, and I said, wow, that sounds like a little bit like a Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And he said, oh, and you like it? And I said, yes, it's fantastic. I said, that would really work well, and join it on to Calling Occupants from Interplanetary Craft, which is in track 2. So the two join together, but obviously it's an original piece that goes into Calling Occupants. And then following Calling Occupants is the wonderful Easter from Marillion. And we experimented, we did